Hey everybody, my name is Miasma and we're back at this again. This is my checking out everything I've ever watched, and let's not take too much time because I try to keep these pretty short because I hate uploading insanely long videos. So I hate to keep breaking this into chunks for the few of you that might care, but these are all going to be like 20 minutes or so. Hunter x Hunter! This is the second longest show I've ever finished behind Inuyasha. I'm pretty sure. It has its moments. It's a well beloved show by a lot of people. I gave it a 6. I think that's a little harsh by now. In fact, you saw it live, folks. I updated it to a 7. I don't like. My main problem with this is it's like a bunch of it gets really good at times and then really really lame at times, and it's just not consistent. Like, it's not consistently good to me. And the characters aren't consistently interesting. Like, I love Kurapika, um but I really don't like Gon, and I don't know, man. I'm not that big. Killua's alright, but I kind of like Leorio for whatever reason. But and then it has this infamous final arc, which everyone will tell you is the greatest arc of all time, and I think it's kind of overrated. I don't know, but it's still a good show. I know I didn't really explain why I don't like it that much. I mean, it doesn't really have a solid ending, and it just kind of takes way too long to get nowhere. IGPX, I talked about this in my hidden gem buried treasure video or whatever. It's a really cool racing show. Probably one of the better sports anime you'll ever see, and it's like a made up sport at that. It's about this futuristic game where people race mechs on this gigantic track, and they fight and shit, and some people have like weapons and powers and shit, sort of. It's pretty good. It's kind of like turn your brain off entertainment. Like, I know people that don't really like the show that much think it's kind of stupid because a lot of it is kind of dumb. It's got a meh English dub with a lot of actual real uh, American actors. Like, I think Haley Joe Osment or whatever his name is the main guy. He gives kind of a lazy performance, but Hynden Walch is one of the side characters, is Amy, and she does a good job. But yeah, it's a cool little, it's 2 seasons. It's got a whole bunch of robot fights. It's got some interesting arcs for the main character. They start out and they're like this shitty team, and the new, they were the best team in the old league, and they got promoted to the top league. And so now they're the on the shit end of the stick, and this kid just wants to be the best, like no one ever was. And he goes through different relationships and stuff, and he could have been a much more interesting character, I feel like, if there was a little more time dove into him. But he is kind of boring. But it was cool to see that he's a person as opposed to I don't know, generic anime character number 10. But yeah, IGPX, pretty good. Second season, I feel the same as the first. Now and then, here and there, I have a review. Go check it out. It's fucking awesome. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's a great show. Inuyasha is my favorite anime of all time, so we're not going to cover that because I'm going to make a big, probably series of videos about that in the future. Inuyashiki. This is by the same guy that did Gantz. It's relatively recent. About this old dude who gets this alien robot body thing, and he's a good guy, and there's this teenage fuckboy who wants to kill people and shit, and he gets the same powers, and it's really like a contrast of, hey, this guy does X with his powers and this guy does Y with his powers. And it kind of, has that whole morality play into it. It's got some cool animation, some actual pretty good looking CG in it. It's got some fucked up weird moments. Like, the guy that wrote this is fucking weird. Like, he definitely has weird. I don't know. He's definitely he always makes weird sexual stuff that happens, and it's definitely gory. If you like Gantz, you'll probably like this. Yeah, it's not bad. Sleeping with Hideko, I have a review. Jormungand, I have a review. Jumping, this is like an animation test from like the 1980s, 84. I thought it was like older. I heard of this from a Digibro video. In fact, the same kind of content that I'm doing right now, where he was going about stuff that he watched, and I kind of wanted to watch short stuff from like short old stuff, and this was just one episode. And because a lot of older anime is really long, and this was basically just like an animation test. It's just about it's like animated from like the viewpoint of something flying or jumping or something, and it goes over water and grass, and you see a bunch of animals and shit. You can watch it on YouTube. It's not that interesting. Ninja Scroll. This is an awesome anime movie. One of the better anime movies ever made. It's got some cool ass action, some awesome animation and music. A really cool main character. It's about this it's got one of the best like opening sequences like in all of anime, because the opening sequence, I mean, if you don't want to be spoiled for Ninja Scroll, I guess that's gonna kind of suck right now. But like the beginning like sets it up that way. You think like this group of these like goody ninja or samurai or something. These guys, it sets up these people that like these guys are the main characters. They're gonna go out and they're gonna get the bad guy, and then they get their fucking asses kicked by the bad dudes, and then the main dude gets involved. And it's really cool. It's got some cool action. It's got some cool powers. You know how I am about my anime powers. It's a great movie. Kaiba. I was gonna do a review of this, but this fell under that like umbrella of shows that I watched, and I just like feel like a review would get me like 0 views. Not that I do it for views, but like this and Haibane Renmei I put in the same category of like stuff that I feel like if I feel like I'm almost not smart enough to talk about it in like a review format. Like I feel like if I did a review of this, it wouldn't really do it justice. It's a really good show about like a world where people can like inject like their there's a separation between like memory and body, and you can like take your like everything that makes you like in your head and put it into like another body and stuff. And it kind of works as like a way of like people can pay off their debts with like their bodies and so forth, as like collateral. And a lot of like fucked up shit happens, and it looks like on its like surface it has this weird animation style which almost looks like a kiddie kind of show, but it really isn't. It's a really cool show. It's got an awesome OP. It's a Masaki Yuasa show, so if you like Devilman Crybaby, you might like this. They're not really like that similar, but he's got this weird artistic style to it. I don't really like the way it looks all that much, but this is a show where I can tolerate something that I don't really like aesthetically. It's really good. She and Her Cat. This is like the worst Shinkai thing I've ever seen, and I love Makoto Shinkai. It's like a short that came with one of the Blu-rays that I have, and it's about a girl and her cat, and from the cat's perspective, and yep. I don't really like pets. Karano Kyokai, I'm talking about all of these movies in stuff in a video with J Chip from the J Chip Show, so check those out. We're already through the first 3. I've seen the first 6 already. So just stay tuned for those. Kemonozume, I have a review. Kimuri Gusa Monogatari. This is I wanted to watch something from the 1920s at one point. I guess I got a hair across my ass or something. And I was like, I'm going to watch a 1920s anime. So I went to YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I literally typed in 1920s anime, and this came up. And it's like a short about this woman. Obviously, it's silent. And, there's music, I think. But there's this little, like animated dude who, like, has a cigarette or something. And he's trying to like bum a light off of her or something. I don't know. It's really weird. And she just she puts him in a cup and stuff. It's another kind of like animation test sort of thing, because she just does. I rated it really low, but it's really like for its time it looks really good. This shows, I guess, I don't have appreciation for super old stuff, but it's better than a 2. Like here, like I don't know, bad by like today's standards. Um, if you're into like, if you're into like studying animation or something like that, especially then you could see like some roots of it. Definitely check that out. Kick Heart. This is another Masaki Yuasa thing, I'm pretty sure. Yep, director of key animation, Masaki Yuasa. So Kaiba and Devilman Crybaby and Ping Pong Guy. This is about a wrestler who, and then there's like a nun. I saw this a long time ago. I could barely remember it. Okay, it's a nun who lives a double life as a wrestler or something. Um, yeah, there's a wrestler, and then the nun also lives a double life as a wrestler. And I think they have to have a match or something against each other. I don't remember enough details about that. But it's got some, Yuasa animation if you're into that. It's pretty good. It's 1 episode. Production IG. Pretty good. I feel like I've been ending all of my things with that tonight. Chimera. Okay, I won't say pretty good about this. This is fucking awful. So Chimera was introduced to me by Bob Samurai. What a great friend. He had it on his shelf in a collection video, and then when I first started ever talking to him, like we were talking about like bad anime at some point, and I brought up like Chimera, and he's like, "Oh, you don't know how bad that is." And then at one point, a group of us watched Chimera together, and it was really really bad. It's like about these like, it's one of those so bad it's funny kind of things, but it also makes you sort of uncomfortable because it's about these 2 dudes who are like, they're like cereal salesmen, and I'm not even making that up. I'm pretty sure they sell cereal, like breakfast cereal. And somehow they get mixed up in this like scientific experiment shit with this like, they created this like artificial being that can like change its gender. This green-haired dude girl thing. And it could change gender, and they like fall in love with it, but it doesn't. I don't think it really knows what it wants to be and shit, and it's kind of like that. And they stuff happens, adult stuff happens, and it gets kind of uncomfortable at times. But hey, man, whatever tickles your pickle. But I'd say don't watch that because it's pretty bad. Your Name I review. It's fucking awesome. Go watch that review. In fact, go watch Your Name instead of my review. Parasite the Maxim. I did a review of this on my old channel, which I won't name here because I don't know. I don't really like pointing people at my old work. Not that my work has really improved. But so Parasite is an awesome show. About this dude who gets like an alien taking over his hand. Like his hand, it basically. These things can take over your entire body, but it fucked up and it only got his hand. And normally they eat your brain and then devour your brain and then take over your whole body, right? And their plan is to, they take over the body and then they eat other people. They're just trying to kind of like live, and this guy has to live with it in his hand and have to live his normal life, while at the same time the parasite is very curious about human nature. And it's very like stoic, and it kind of doesn't seem to understand a lot of the stuff that humans hold dear about love and so forth. And it's a cool show. It's got a lot of interesting gore, some awesome animation, an amazing OP by Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is an awesome Japanese band. But it does kind of hit you over the head a lot with this message that like humanity is like fucking everything up for the earth, and like humanity's bad, and like how dare we interfere with these things just trying to live. Like, who are we to say something doesn't get the right to live? Kind of like Shiki has a lot of the same message, and I feel like it's an important message, but it really hits you over the head with it a lot, especially for like a 24 episode show. And I don't know. It just is. It gets kind of annoying after a while. I still recommend watching it though. A Silent Voice. I have a review of it. Konosuba. I've only seen season 1 of this. This This is God's blessing on this wonderful world. It's like a dude, is isekai show. Dude goes to another world, and he's basically in like an MMO, but his party sucks. Like he's got this goddess girl who has like water power or something, but she's fucking useless. And then he's got Megumin, who is like a wizard sorceress chick, and she has a really powerful spell of explosion, but she can only use it once per battle. And then you got this oh my god, why can't I think of the name? Like a sadist chick, is that the term? I can't think of the word right now. A girl, this night girl who likes to get like hurt and pain, and it, like sexually arouses her, and it's kind of funny. I think it'd be funnier if I was more into video games and stuff like that, which I'm not. But it made me laugh a lot in like the early episodes, so I can see why people really, really like it. Because if it made me laugh and I don't really give a fuck about like MMO humor, then it's probably a good show. Kore wa zombie desu ka? Is this a zombie? And there's a second season of this as well. The first season is much better than season 2, because the first season is way more relaxed. It's an insane show. I know I just said it's relaxed, but it's an insane premise. Like, this dude gets turned into a zombie for reasons that get explained later on. But it's not the same, like, he doesn't, like, eat brains. He's more like a really lame vampire. Because he lives his normal life, except he's, like, really pale, and when he's in the sunlight, it, like, weakens him and, like, slows him down, so he has to, like, have an umbrella all the time. And he slowly but surely acquires this, like, harem of supernatural girls. He gets he gets 2 vampire ninjas, he gets a necromancer, and he gets a magical garment girl who wields a chainsaw as his friends and potential love interests. And the show gets really ridiculous. There's at one point where there's like flying whales. And there's people playing I think there's people playing violins on the whales or something. And it's pretty crazy. And it's one of these shows that the dub is really good because it makes a lot of like, I'm sure there's a lot of like wordplay jokes in here that they just subbed it out because they make a lot of like break the sort of like fourth wall break jokes where they make fun of like the tsundere thing, and they make fun of it makes fun of itself for being an anime, which is kind of funny. And there's a lot of cool slapstick in here. I really like the characters. Technically, it has one of the strongest anime characters of all time in the necromancer girl here, Euclid Health Scythe. But yeah, it's really good. Season 2 kind of is a letdown because it gets a lot more it tries to get serious and like have an actual plot, and I think that made it lamer. Garden of Words. Do I have a review of this? If I don't, I think I talked about it before. I don't remember. It's my favorite anime film of all time. I don't even have a 10 out of 10 here, but this is probably my number 1 anime film. It's a Makoto Shinkai movie. It's beautiful. I'll probably talk about it more in another video. But it's really, really beautiful. It's about this teenage kid and this near middle-aged woman who finds some commonality in a park, and really rely on each other just to get by. And I'll leave it at that for now. But it's the best animation I've ever seen. Children of Whales, I have a review. Oh, Makoto Shinkai again. This is the place promised in our early days. This is the most disappointing Makoto Shinkai thing I've ever seen. I gave it a 7, and that's being really lenient. It's visually really good. This is probably, when people say, how could you like Makoto Shinkai so much, they probably will point stuff like this out, because it showcases how, as a director, his stuff always looks really, really good, but it's never, until like more recent films, like it was never written that well, and it can be kind of boring and monologue-y, and this movie is really boring and monologue-y. And the plot doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, it's this trio of characters, and like both of the guys, 2 guys and a girl, life kind of divides them into separate places, and then some fucking weird shit happens to the girl, and she gets like kidnapped by like the government or something, and then like the two guys have to team up and like build a fucking plane or something. I don't know. But uh, it looks really good animation wise, but that's like really all it has. Like I would say maybe watch it once if you're really into Makoto Shinkai. Little Witch Academia. This is the original OVA. One of the only things Studio Trigger ever did that I actually liked. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like Harry Potter the anime, sort of, except with girls. And it can be kind of funny. It's got some interesting characters. The animation, not really my cup of tea, but it's an interesting story about a girl who sucks at magic, trying to be good at magic. She's kind of like Naruto, I guess. There's a movie that they did or something, and then there's this series. I've seen a little bit of the series, and I've seen the OVA and the movie, or the OV or whatever the fuck this is. This is the movie, Enchanted Parade. I've seen this too. This is also pretty good, but I like the original OVA the best. Lupin the Third, Castle Cagliostro. This is a Ghibli thing. Yeah, it's a Miyazaki thing. With the only Lupin the Third thing I've ever seen, and it's widely regarded as an incredible movie. I think it's pretty good. I feel like hype got to me a lot with this. Like people said it was like one of the best anime or movies of all time. It's pretty good. It's got awesome animation, especially for 1979. A pretty good dub. But like I didn't take much away from like the story, and maybe you could say that's just because it's a Lupin thing. He's kind of like a funny James Bond kind of dude. But like my problem with like one reason I don't think I'll ever like Lupin is like I never feel like I'm in real danger, cause like he just like gets out of everything, like, and like he's gonna make it out, cause he's Lupin, and so it takes away a lot of the suspense for me. But I guess maybe I'm missing the point of like these kind of things. So maybe it's just not my cup of tea. But still, really good movie. I recommend watching it. Made in Abyss. This will be the last one I talk about in this one. I fucking love Made in Abyss. This is an awesome, awesome show. I can't wait for season 2. It's gonna be something that I actually watch weekly, I think. I ordered the Blu-ray set of this, the collector's edition, which I will probably do an opening of here on my channel. But it's freaking awesome. Beautiful animation, amazing backgrounds. It gets a little weird at points where they're like, taking clothes off of the girl, and the teacher's like beating her and shit. That part was kind of weird, but the rest of it really, really friggin' cool. About these two, like this world where there's this like, obviously there's this big ass abyss, and there's like people like work their whole lives just to try and climb down further and further, and certain classes of people are allowed to go to a certain depth, and obviously like the kids aren't allowed to, and it's about an adventure of a couple of the kids going down deep into the abyss, and they slowly learn why not everybody's allowed down there. And yeah, and it's really cool. It's got interesting characters, amazing. It's broken up in its 13 episodes. It's broken up into a couple like mini arcs, and in the middle it can be a little slow, but they did introduce one of my favorite characters in the whole show, in Ozen, sort of in the middle, and then it's got this cool ass arc with this like awesome side character later on. It's got some action in it, like there's like monsters and shit. And yeah, I can't wait to see where season 2 is gonna go. It's one thing though that like, because the show looks so nice, like I don't want to read the manga for this because it just looks so good in color. Like I would never want to see this like without color. So I'm not gonna read the manga. So I kind of hope that the show finishes it off, or like can eventually. But yeah, that's all we're gonna do for today. I will see you guys next time. We're gonna go with Maho Shoujo Madoka Magica. Yeah. If you like this kind of stuff, hit that like button down below. I have a Patreon. Big thank you to Nia for her kind donation this month. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. My name is Miasma, and I'm signing out.